Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Flood for Hearts of Iron 4. This is Flash speaking. As last time happened, we got an unexpected result from our premiership election in the form of Mr. Karl Popper himself. Let's see. Our circumstances shape us, and Karl Popper is no exception. Lord knows a Viennese intellectual from a mixed Jewish, Hungarian, Bohemian, Silesian, and Austrian background would fit better today in the house Franz Ferdinand built. For a time this was true, and as a bookish 16-year-old he would already be attending the University of Vienna as a guest student. Unfortunately, this happened to coincide with the worst of the Great War for Austria-Hungary, and with a recent convert to Marxism narrowly escaped death at the hands of the state and mob by fleeing into Germany in 1919. The events in his homeland would, in retrospect, very heavily publicized politics. Okay, so essentially he's probably he's the most moderate leader of the German Socialist Radical Republic that they have at the moment. There we go. Let's see. Where were we? Okay, we got new factories being built. Okay, Comet Hittix. Oh yeah, that's right, Comet Hittix. So Persia has exploded. This is good for us. Hopefully the socialists actually pull this off. Even though we are not technically popular socialist, we are progressive democracy, which is interesting because okay. The road to liberty. What reason did Friedrich Hayek have to worry? He was only a Vietnamese economist standing in the heart of a Nevada Congress and telling a significant portion of the assembled politicians they had been doing things wrong for decades. Easy, no? Well, when you put it that way, it didn't help. Still, no one could doubt that he'd fled Austria with wolves at his back, being too curious about democratic socialism at the wrong time, had run him afoul of the GSS, and then all before Professor von Reiser what they did to him. Hayek swallowed and found himself in the moment again. Had all this salt passed in the blink of an eye between his introduction by the Premier and now? Frightening, all eyes were upon him, and not all of them were glaring, and so he cleared his throat. Comrades, did we, socialists, make war against the Ludendorff dictatorship to create another totalitarian bureaucracy? We want to seize control of the economic relations between men and govern them in absolute terms. The initial howling from some of the seats was deafening, but Friedrich found the calls for order from his own party, and some of the SPD in fact emboldening, and he found his voice rising in volume impulsively. Rather, I ask of you, as fellow socialists, would freedom not be better embodied in fact in a system where workers utilize their own free will within a government-mediated system of market capitalism, where man is free to cooperate with his fellow man on his own terms, an economy that will guide the people on the road to freedom, of the road upward rather than at the point of a gun. In spite of himself, Hayek found one of his arms had risen in a gesticulate during this appeal. Was this becoming of a man of the ASPD? Right, he thought as he gained his composure sheepishly. There was still a prepared speech he had for this, wasn't there? Not only the road is long. So, ground pure reason and politics. Our party does not rule by diktat nor by personal whim. Instead, we surrender our fates to the laws that bind our society together and the esteem men who adjudicate them. Yes, our laws are politically contingent, but in order to anchor them in reality, we must have people to judge on a case-by-case basis. It is in this way that our civil society will interface with the state. Okay, so essentially, from what I can recall, because I've never actually played the Popper path before, Popper, the ASPD is probably the most moderate of the parties you can get in power in the German state at the moment. You have the SPD, which is the Social Democratic Party, the Orthodox wing, the SPD, which is more so the councilist, Spartacist wing, and the DSRP KPD coalition, which is Goebbels, Brandler, and what's his name? What was his name? It was Radek for the KPD. Yeah, that's right. The summer coup war. Oh yeah, and I forgot about this. The Russians have like this weird civil war going on that triggers between Mikhail Drozdovsky and Alexander Kolchak, based on differing views on how they ought to govern the empire, I guess. Drozdovsky masterminds and modernizes thought closely to the ideals of the former Prime Minister Peter Stolypin. I don't know if I pronounced that right. And I guess Kolchak just wants the status quo. I actually know a lot about Red Flood lore. I just find it really difficult to explain it to an audience, I guess. Abdication of Carol II. Okay, the Romanians. His son took over. Okay, that's normal. Southeastern Union. Okay, well, Russia's exploding. So let's see. We have Japan that exploded. Korea exploded. This looks ugly as heck right here. Look at that. Sir, you telling me you couldn't take this part? Okay, well, whatever, at least you have a foothold. Japan turns syndicalist. Not syndicalist, I don't think Kaiserreich, Spartacist, which is essentially the original ideology of the German Revolution. Well, that's good for us, I guess. Yeah. Let's see. See which one gives us the snakes in the glass. Not every danger that looms over our democracy, our freedom and rights is visible. The futurists from the western border may indeed threaten us with rifles and dynamite, but there is another disease that affects our republic from within. They are the radicals who, taking advantage of the SPD crisis, try to gain power and implement their authoritarian ways. They withdrew to their hiding places, seeing the victory of normalcy over their ideas detached from reality, and we must not allow them to stab us in the back at a moment of great triumph for our republic. Both the far left and the far right must be defeated for our people's democracy to function. We should drive them out to their hiding places and laugh at them, show our people that if we all unite against them, these vipers cannot threaten us. And this will drive down Vanguard Socialist popularity. There you go. So, national victory in Romania. Alexandra, Gina, I can't see. What? Never actually seen this before. Okay, so these are the nationalists. Okay. Well, I guess they have a reason, like Moldova. Transylvania is part of frickin' Hungarian Council Republics. Who's in? Yeah, okay. Just call one. Run one. I can't say word today. The Helvetic Fellowship. I didn't know that was a thing. What? What's this? Whoa. Spanish Civil War. Well, that's expected. Okay. Okay, so the Spanish Republic are the people that I want to win. National Front with Mr. Skullman here, I don't really care for, and the Iberian Communes I don't care for either, they're just anarchists. We're not anarchists, we're just socialists. Poland went Democratic Socialist as well, that's great, actually. Hopefully we don't have to, they've become tolerant. We don't have to spread our paradox of tolerance. Oh dear lord. And probably sudden news fell from a bolt like from a bolt from heaven. As word spread around that many activists of the SRNP and the RSP had been arrested. The reason, the old Social Democratic Party of Germany had recently enacted controversial laws which did not ban the SRNP and the RSP, the SRP, and other radical nationalist parties, but rather forbade the use of uniforms during public gatherings. This has been met with accusations of an attempt to introduce a social liberal dictatorship in Germany and a disturbance of the democratic order. Popper, however, reassured the Germans with a short radio speech delivered with this. The country. Should a tolerant society tolerate? Oh my gosh, they're actually doing this. That's funny. I've never played this path before, but they're actually doing this. That is hilarious. Okay. Should a tolerant society tolerate intolerance? Should we allow radicals who believe in persecuting certain groups because of their religion, culture, race, or ethnicity? Because we believe in political pluralism? The answer is no. We do not need to tolerate them. To be tolerant, it is a paradox, but unlimited tolerance can lead to the extinction of humanism. Liberalism and tolerance. When we extend our tolerance to those who are openly intolerant, we give them a chance to destroy our humanist society and tolerance with it. Any movement that preaches violence and exclusiveness must be outside the law. To show our good intentions, we have only limited the formation of groups that could threaten our democracy rather than removing certain parties from our system because they have different views. If the parties that have used these now banned techniques are able to adapt to new realities, they will be able to exist as a democracy should be only for Democrats. Okay. Joseph Goebbels, despite Popper's assurances of noble intentions, has stated that this is an active and conscious attack on the nationalist opposition, especially publicizing his dissatisfaction by using legal forms of public propaganda. However, most of the people do not view this as any real evidence of the ASPD's willingness to destroy nationalist parties, but only extraordinary claims without any basis. Apart from the electorate of these parties, few people cared about these angry shouts. Some even decided that it would be better when no one talked about the need to remove the Jews, bring to Germany, or disturbed the quiet way with their marches in colorful leotards. But the nationalists in their irritation took the streets to protest the changes. These protests were swiftly met with police responses and arrests, with wagon after wagon of uniformed men being carted away. Among these arrested was controversial General Ernst Röhm, who is currently awaiting a sentence for organizing militias and wearing party dress in public place. Experts believe this is a method to stop these movements of the aesthetics and propaganda that draws voters to the radicals. Among the restrictions were also other methods of limiting the influence of nationalist parties, such as the banning of use of sharp language during speeches, prohibition of disturbing oracle speeches, and a ban on non-authorized student unions. The voices of the nationalists have slowly begun to fall silent, and as the Germans return to their peaceful status quo, these intolerant radicals will risk dying out at some point due to lack of support defending tolerance to tolerate the entire. Okay, so essentially, it's doing exactly what I thought it was going to do. We are spreading tolerance through force. Here we go. No tolerance for the intolerant. As man is conditioned by other men, so must we peace exist to condition prosperity. If we are not prepared to defend a tolerant society against the onslaught of the intolerant, then the tolerant will be destroyed, and tolerance with them. In fact, tolerance must have tanks and super battleships to preserve itself. So let's use every tool we have to uproot the intolerant groups that threaten our open society. Well, that's funny. I didn't even see that focus too.